Hey guys, it's Maymay, and I need a card for a very special friend of mine. And I asked you guys the other day if you wanted to watch me make it, and you said you did, so I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna use our stamp set that is our St. Jude fundraiser stamp set. This one's called You Make Me Happy. This one may be sold out in the store by the time you get here, and if it is, it's not coming back. We got it for St. Jude, but it was for St. Jude, and we raised a lot of money. That information is coming soon too, but that's what this is. So I'm going to use this guy today, and I'm going to use some of this distressed watercolor paper. I like this paper because it comes pre-cut in these sheets. You can get it, and we carry it in the smaller sheet, which is the 1/4, or you can get it in the bigger sheet. I'm going to cut a piece that is 4 inches, which works on an A2 card, and I'm going to cut it by 5 1/4. I don't know if I'm actually going to need that much. I may trim it down again, but the reason I don't want to kind of do a wonky cut right now is because I don't want to mess these pieces up I can use for other cards in the future, so I'm just going to set that aside. And now I can use this guy. So I'm taking the little stamp that is the little kids, from like the border of the little kids. I'm going to take this little guy, and I'm going to stamp him down this side of the page. And I'm going to watercolor. So what I want to make sure I do is I use an ink that's good for watercolor. Let me turn this way to get that all on there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this kind of off the page at the top. I'm going to ink up just the heads of these kids, and his little body I'm not going to ink, because this is where I want to place the next one, because I want the kids to run all the way down the page. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little purple tape. This is super easy to do. And I'm going to mask off his little body. I really don't mind if his little hand is sticking there. That'll be fine. It'll just like he's waving. But I'm going to mask off his little body, and I'm going to ink the rest of these guys. I might have gotten his chin a little bit right there covered up and didn't get any ink on it. And if that's the case, I can go back with a pen and put that in. All right, I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black because I'm going to watercolor, so I don't want it to smear. And like I said, I'm going to run these guys right down this side of the page. And I'm going a little off on the top because I want her to kind of go off and then, you know, run like a whole row. Okay, so there they are up there. You see how it stopped at his little body. Now I'm going to ink it up again. This time I shouldn't have to worry about masking anything off, because I'm just going to run this down to wherever it stops. Also, this is on watercolor paper, so it's not like this perfect smooth image. I'm going to overlap these. This will be cute because he'll overlap just a little bit. And then they're going to keep running down the page and finish that all off for me. See, cute. So we've got kids running all the way down, and that's what I wanted. I wanted them to run from the top to the bottom. And that's why I kind of had that one hang off, so that whenever they did at the bottom too, it didn't look awkward. Okay, so now we're going to color and watercolor. I'm using these Nuvo pencils. They are so cool, and I love that they have the flesh tones and they also have bright colors. So I'm going to be using them both. I think I'm going to start with the flesh tones and go ahead and get the little children all colored up. And I'm going to use all the different tones so that the children look all different, if that makes sense, because no two people are the same flesh color, correct? So I'm going to do that just to play a little bit. So I'm going to put some color, and what I'm doing, I'm just putting the concentration of color, the darkest color, around the outside edge of the face, okay? Then I'm going to come in with my water brush, and I'm going to brush that color around. And I'm going to use the finer of the water brushes. And here's what I do. I squirt a little water on my mat. You might not can see my hand there. Let me move it down. Here we go. I squirt a little water on my mat and get the brush flowing. And then if I need any water, I just come back to that and pick it up, or squeeze it from the brush, either way. All right, so I'm just going to come in here, and I'm just going to start grabbing that color. Now, the way I'm doing this card, I'm not concerned about this open side of the face. And the reason is I'm going to put another layer there, a matte. So I'm just going to kind of let this kind of end off in the sunset a little bit. I'm not going to stress about that. I'm just going to color, and I don't need a perfect edge there, if that makes sense. So by concentrating the color on the outside edge and pulling it in, it gives me that automatic shadow. I probably should zoom you guys in. Let me zoom you. So you can see what I'm saying. The edge is concentrated with the color, but like around his eyes is more highlighted because I'm not pulling a full saturation of color in, okay? And I'm going to do that on all of them, just in different colors. So let's go here. I'm going to skip one, and do another one. So I'm going to concentrate the color on the edge, and very little color. You don't need much because I just want them to be just colored. The more you lay down, you know, the more vibrant they'll be. Let's get that little ear. Okay, then I'm going to take that brush. You could use the bigger. I'm just using the finer. I'm just going to wet that ink and pull it to the middle. Not ink, wet that pencil. These pencils are really good. They really break up with the water. I love that about them. So I'm really wetting that, and now what I'm going to do is start pulling in, and I want the eyes to stay brighter because I want that to be kind of where their lightness is. So I'm not pulling as much down onto the eyes, if that makes sense. Get his little ear, just like so. I'm going to come back and put like some cheek coloring and stuff like that as we go. So there's that little guy done. Now let's go back up here. I'm going to pick another color. Let's use this kind of yellowy color. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing. So easy. So that's all my little kids' faces colored. Now I'm going to go back and put the pink in, and I'm just going to use kind of this bright pink. I'll tell you what color it is. I may even use a brighter, but this is Strawberry Milkshake, but I may use the one over here in my other palette that might be a little bit brighter, but we'll see. So just on the cheeks of the little dudes and the girls, I'm just going to come in and put a little saturation of pink on their cheeks. I'm going to start with this color and see if I can get it done that way. I might want their cheeks to be a little brighter. I think I'm going to have to go brighter. I think this is going to blend in a little much for me, but let me see. Because I want them to be so cheery looking, so bright and cheery. It's all right. It's not my favorite. I think I'm going to do the other one because I think it'll be brighter. See, that just totally goes away. So, yep, I'm going to use the other one, which is this color called... What is it called? Cotton Candy. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and I'm going to come down here to the little girl and start with her. So I'm going to put a pretty concentrated circle of color, because then I can bleed it out with the water a little bit, just to soften it. It's so cute. Yep, I like the darker pink. I think you can see it better. Now I can color their clothes. That's what I've been looking forward to the whole time. Let's see. I want some blue on here. I'm going to use this. Oh, there's this teal blue that's really pretty. I'm going to use that color. And I think I'm going to put it on this little guy's shirt. So I'm only going to color the edges again like I did, but only like the two edges on this side. I'm going to pull color to the rest of it. So I'm not coloring the entire thing in. I'm just laying some down. And I'm going to come in with my water brush. I'm going to wet that and kind of loosen it and break it up. And then I'm going to drag it around the rest of the shirt. And that is going to be what gives us the shaded look. So you can see how I just sort of shaded one side and then pulled it around so it looks like the light is coming from the top. So there's that little blue color. Let's try to do all the colors I can do. Let's just mix them all up. Let's do some purple. Now for the hair on the little girls, I'm not going to color the hair itself. I'm just going to color this little top knot up here, which could be a little scrunchy or it could just be a little bun or what have you. So I'm just going to concentrate a whole strong bit of color just for some pops. So I did orange on that one. I think I'll do purple on the little girl in the pink dress. Do a little purple in there. And then for collars, I haven't decided what I want to do to the collars yet. Let me think about that for a second. I think I'm just going to leave their collars white. I was going to do something else to them, but I don't think so. I think they're cute like that. And then I want to do something else. Let me show you. So I have zoomed you in for this because this is my white pen. And what I want to do is on their little cheeks, I want to give them some little white freckles. This will help have a really fresh, summery kind of pop of color look. I'll move my pen out of the way in just a second so you can see what I've done there, just to give them those little bright, cheery white freckles. I hope you can see that. I don't know that you can. They're really tiny. I'll bring it up to the camera in just a second. But I'm just doing 3 little freckles in their little cheeks, which actually you could run this across their whole little face because freckles go everywhere the sun goes. So there's the little white freckles. But how cute would it be to do little brown freckles too? They're really cute. I just thought that would add a little pop of fresh, bright color. Okay, now I want to do a little fussy cutting. And I heard you guys in my last video asking the question. A lot of you guys, I'm pretty proud of you for how much you like to fussy cut. I'm really surprised by that. So we're going to do that on this card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I want to cut around these guys, leaving a gap, like leaving an offset line just around them. And I'm just going to cut all the way down, because I want to kind of have some play or some movement on the card, the way I'm going to lay it out. So I'll show you. Remember how I told you I might have to take some away from over here? This was why. I wanted to see how this lays out first. And if I have it too wide, but I don't think I'm going to actually now that I do this. So we'll see. Just keep working my way down, working my way down. So now, see how now I have that little line of kids? I think that is so cute. So here's the deal. I'm going to cut a piece of paper to lay on top of here that is colored, bright colored, and then we're going to put our sentiment on that as well. Now I'm going to do a whole bunch of stamping. So this little strip is 2 inches, and this is going to run down the center of my card, and I'll show you how we're going to put this all together in a minute. So this is the little group of people, little kids, that run across the bottom, or they're made for wherever you want to put them, but I'm going to run them across the bottom of my little strip here. I'm going to come back and color those in a second too. So this is the little sign from the stamp set, and this little guy's got his hands out, and I'm going to put this sign in his hands just like that. So he's holding a little sign now, and then I'm going to take this stamp that goes inside the sign, and it says I love you. I'm going to stamp it right inside there. I love you. That is so cute. And the sentiment, you make me happy. So I'm going to put this, I think, kind of toward the top. I may do some other coloring and things like that, but I want to put this one about right here. Just like so. That is so cute. So I've pulled over my rainbow colors and I have them laid out in my Roy G. Biv. If you don't know what that is, that's how you remember red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. Okay, so I'm going to start with the red and color the H, and I'm not going to come back and like add water. I'm just going to do these kind of strong and vibrant, and I'm not going to try to wash them down at all because I really want these colors to pop. I just realized this. I'm going to get in trouble from my Roy G. Biv because I did it wrong. I want to tell you. So it's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, but I'm skipping indigo. We're going blue, and then we're going straight to violet. So forgive me for that. I should have clarified. I don't want anybody to get upset with me. And my teacher, my art teacher, would be really upset with me because indigo matters. So just because I'm going to take these same colors that I've got right here, I want to add some more color to this piece that's going in the middle, and I'm just going to come up and I'm just going to draw like circles. Just open circles. I'm not going to color them in solid. So I'm going to kind of go on and off the page, but I'll show you what I mean. Like with this green, I'll draw an actual little open circle like that. And with the purple, I'll draw a smaller little circle. And then with the yellow, I'm going to come over here and do a bigger circle. And I'm going to come back and watercolor these. I want the watercolor look, but I thought it'd be cool to add some more color here and there just by doing these little circles. And if they kind of bleed and run around, I'm okay with that. That's kind of the look I'm looking for. I want it to be kind of fun and silly. Okay, so let's do a red circle. So now I'm just going to take my water brush and just kind of mess these colors, these little half circles I did up, if that makes sense, and run the color inside. And again, if they bleed a little weird, that's actually fine. Again, I wipe that off on my little wet wipe, which is off the screen here. If they bleed around, that's no big deal. I just wanted some more color. So one other thing I'm doing, using the same colors, I'm coming in and just making tiny dots of the color. Each of the same rainbow colors, just tiny dots here and there. It just kind of looks like a party. So I'm just little tiny dots. Let me do the orange. I've done all the other colors. Then I'm going to come in with my water brush and I'm just going to touch each of these dots and let them do what they do. I'm not picky about it. I'm not going to stress about it. Whatever it does is what it does. So I'm going to bring my little brush back over. And I'm actually even going to squeeze it because this is actually my thicker brush. I'm going to squeeze it onto my mat so I can get a good bit of water. And I'm just going to touch each one of these guys. And whatever they do is what they're going to do. So now I have to show you something else I did. So while the little dots had little blobs of water on them, I just blew on them really kind of hard, like watch what happens. So some of the, so you can see how it's kind of running all over the place. That's kind of fun to do. Never done that before. I think that's fun. You could probably do that with your heat tool too, but I like it because now it really looks like a little confetti party everywhere. And so now I'm going to let that dry. So let's talk about the card. This is an A2 size white card base. I've cut a mat to cover the entire base. This guy, it's a little bit long, so I can trim that off in a second, but I'm going to glue this straight down. So I got my art glitter glue, and I'm going to put the glue onto the back of this base. And like I said, this one's going to cover the entire card. It's hanging over a little bit, so I'm going to trim this off. I love these big long scissors for this. You just lay them beside the card and just slice up the side. Okay, so this is our card base. It's the polka dotted green. Then I'm going to take the little kids that we did earlier and I'm going to glue them from one side. I forgot I did this, so we're just going to fix it. We're not going to panic about it. I forgot I cut this to 5 1/4 so I'd have a mat on my card, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to glue this up in this top corner, and then I'm just going to trim my card off because I do want it to end at the little, the extra little kid down there. So here's a mistake, and here's how I'm going to fix it. It'll still fit in my envelope. It'll still be fine, and I promise you the person that's getting this card is not going to judge me for that. So I'm going to go right up here to the top corner and line those little guys up just like so. And I'll cut it all the way at the end. I'll cut this little part away at the end. I may leave it. I don't know. It kind of doesn't look bad. So we'll see what's going to happen as we go. All right, I've cut a couple of other mats. Let me show you which one. So I want to show you my decision-making process on this one. I was going to use just this little guy and put it here kind of in the center and have white on either edge. But to me, the little guys over here don't pop as much as when I added this. I felt like when I added this black mat, they really popped. So I'm going to run it all the way to the edge of the card, okay? So these little guys just really show up really well there. And then this piece is going to get centered on there to bring my bright colors back in. So see how much better they pop by having that little bit right there? I think they do anyway. So that's how this is going to get glued straight down. Okay, so now I want to pop this one up, and I want to pop it up in the middle. And look how much this looks like a party. And I'm going to have to run it up to the top and trim again because I didn't measure perfectly, but I'm not stressed about it. So let me put some foam squares on the back of this. Okay, got my foam squares on. I'm going to bring this guy over, and I'm going to line it up at the bottom centered. I'm going to have to look at that from the front as well. Let's see. And then I'm just going to trim away what's at the top because remember I cut it wrong. I wasn't thinking about this, so I cut it wrong. So I'm just going to trim this section away here. So I just trimmed that little piece that was hanging off over the top away. And I want to trim this. I think it'll look cuter if I do. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim this with my scissors right at the bottom. Don't stress. When you make a mistake like this is not a mistake. It's just a design opportunity. This is no big deal. Now this card is all together. No one would know the difference and no one's going to complain about that, right? So look how cute this is. I love it. Now I do want to stamp on the inside and I should have done it ahead of time. I did not think about the fact I wanted to. So I'm going to do it now. So you can see when I sit down to make a card, oh my goodness, I get all out of whack. But the card still gets made. Okay, so let me get a stamp block. And what I want to put on the inside is, I'm going to use the sentiment that says, "You are amazing." I'm going to put it right here in the middle. Just like so. That is so cute. And then this card is ready to be signed and sent. I love that. I think that turned out really cute. It's exactly what I wanted. I wanted it to look like a party. And now I'm going to send this to my sweet friend who deserves it very much. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really had fun just playing and making a party in a card. If you try any of the things I've shown you today, I want to see it. Head over to my customer gallery and share with us photos of what you're doing with these products or how you're doing watercolor and playing with the little St. Jude stamp set. We want to see it. Or you can go to our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and so did I. There are so many folks uploading all kinds of inspiration over there, and we want to see what you're doing too. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. See you again soon. Bye-bye.